Bebop, have a seat. I'm delighted to be here this is our third year, second interview for the season, and tonight's going to be really special. And I have to start out by saying, we did student outreach today, as Terry told you, and I've never seen the students so excited in my life. The bell rang twice, and we still had 5 kids that wanted to talk about exactly what he had to talk about today. So it was really fascinating. This is an important thing that we're doing for our community, bringing technology leaders from all over the world to talk about global challenges and creating solutions. This is so fun for me to be able to reach out to my people and to be able to have the spotlight on these people, these world changers, because we all need to know what's happening in the future, and we can all do something about it. Tonight is going to be a little bit interesting. We're talking about Elon Musk's vision of the future of transportation. Who knows about Elon? Yeah, okay, pretty much everybody, right? So Elon and I and my brother had lunch in 2013, and Elon was saying, okay, I need to make Tesla Motors profitable, I need to make SpaceX successful, and there's a new form of transportation that has to happen. Solar City's going well, and somebody's gonna do it, and so I'm putting it out there. And I never thought that I would stand in front of you today to be able to introduce Bibop Gresta.
Thank you for having me.
Bibop is not only extremely personable, charismatic, and everybody loves him, but he's also the Vice CEO and COO of Hyperloop Transportation Technologies. He's a co-founder of Jumpstarter, Inc. He has coordinated over 500 engineers in over 40 countries to make the first Hyperloop happen. He's completed 3 successful IPOs in 3 different countries, created 70 startups. He's not that old, 70 startups. He sits on the board of several humanitarian projects. He's an advocate for, listen to this one, he's an advocate for transhumanism. Does anybody know what that means? Okay, tell me what you think that means. Right.
Is that a plant?
No, he's not a plant. And in one sentence, what it is saying that go beyond human physical ability, and we can keep on evolving with science and technology. So take away the limitations of our humanities and physical restrictions, we can still evolve with technology and science. That's interesting. So Bebop also is an amazing humanitarian, and he finds that it's very important, of course, to be ethical as an entrepreneur. I'm so honored to welcome tonight Bibop Gresta.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So what we were saying earlier is that Elon had the vision that there needs to be a 5th mode of transportation. We have airplanes, boats, trains, cars, and then there's another one that has to happen that hasn't been discovered yet. Why do you think that we have the need for something that's new?
So, thank you first for having me here. We need something new because the old transportation is broken. And I don't have to tell you guys this, you know it. You live it every day. When you go out for your house, you jump in the car and you're just stuck in this endless line of cars, and you start to wonder, there should be a better way. And it's not only about, being stuck in traffic. Yeah, this is annoying, but it's we are losing the most important thing that we have, time. And the time is also the possibility to be with the people you love. Time is, the possibility to learn new things, or to grow, or to be with your family, the most important things in life. So we are solving not only the way we move. Yes, it's cool, but also we are aiming to literally bring people closer. And by doing this, we mean we have to redefine completely how we build cities, thanks to this. Mm-hmm. Because if you can actually go to Los Angeles in 1 hour from here, and to San Francisco in 30 minutes, then maybe you want to live in a place in the middle where you're, 20 minutes away from everything. And it's a new city with new rules, with sustainability, with not based on consumption, but based on things that can improve human being and not being stuck into carbon, a carbon society that's been invented from someone that was just willing to make money. Because if you analyze the story of how we came out with this mess, it's really unbelievable. It pissed me off about, about how there were these technologies available from a long time and they haven't used it. So,
and the greater the population becomes and the more populated our areas become, the more time it takes to get to where we're going.
I don't know how you want to do this. I have some, maybe some things that I can show while we are talking. Do you mind if we do interactive?
He has really cool things to show.
So, for example, you think, transportation is broken here? Guys, there are people that really know how to do this. There are people in China 2 months ago that have been stuck in a traffic jam for 15 hours. They are ninja of this thing. They know how to do these things. So we are not talking anymore about being out of a noisy place we're talking about dying in there, In that level of traffic, you are breathing something that is poisonous, okay? And we will get there because the more road we build, guess what? The more cars will be riding it. It's a law, then, it's a law of consumerism. So we need to invert the way we think about transportation, and that's what we are doing. Maybe I can show a little video of what we have done in the last year. We've been a lot turning around. I've been in a world tour that is not finished, 52 countries visited in a year. I don't even remember where's my house. But the cool things about what came out, we are successfully educating people about this possibility. And that's what came out from the media all around the world.
America's always been a nation of doers. We build things, we take risks, and we believe that if you have a good idea and are willing to work hard enough, you can turn that idea into a successful business.
Billionaire philanthropist Elon Musk has hinted at a new high-speed transport system that could put planes and trains out of business.
I have a name for it, which is called the Hyperloop.
So what's Hyperloop? Mr. Musk's plan: move people using a massive vacuum tube combined with a magnetic levitation system. Kind of like a Jetsons tunnel?
It's something like that, yeah.
It's called the Hyperloop. It's a system of giant suspended tubes. Riding within are capsules carrying people or freight travelling on cushions of air at speeds of up to 1,200 k's per hour, or roughly 1 kilometre every 3 seconds.
How would you like something that can never crash? It is immune to weather. It goes 3 or 4 times faster than the sort of bullet train, and it would cost you much less than an air ticket. There are some companies that are forming to try to make the Hyperloop happen, and I encourage them. I think that's great. I'm super focused on Tesla and SpaceX, and to a small amount on Solar City, so that basically completely uses up my brain.
The race is on. Elon Musk's vision for a high-speed passenger pods known as the Hyperloop is one step closer to becoming reality this morning. One of the known companies competing to capitalize on Musk's proposal, announcing today it has struck a deal with landowners in Central California to build the first full-scale Hyperloop along a 5-mile stretch along I-5, with construction set to begin in 2016.
Let's bring in Dirk Alburn, who is the man who runs the Hyperloop Transportation Technologies team, which is announcing this deal with Quay Valley, California.
This is an independent organization that has formed. We have 170 engineers, scientists, and really great professionals with amazing backgrounds.
Abbiamo università prestigiosissime da tutto il mondo, Stanford, MIT, UCLA, e ad oggi hanno iniziato anche ad aderire grandissime aziende nel mondo delle costruzioni, dell'ingegneria.
Can you imagine and walk us through what it might be like to travel at the speed of sound?
It's not going to be much different than sitting in an airplane, actually. Obviously, for us, it's very important to make it as good of an experience as possible.
La sicurezza per noi è il tema fondamentale che sta guidando tutte le scelte ingegneristiche.
In railroads, most accidents were all human factors. Plus, a lot of the derailments are actually happened because something's on the track. So we're in a closed system. We're completely managed by a computer system. There's no human factor that can actually create those issues.
It will be built on pylon. So the main difference between us and a normal rail system is that the footprint that we have on the ground is very minimal. So you don't have all the problems that you find when you're trying to build a rail system.
We will actually be able to generate revenues very, very fast.
Le prime proiezioni che abbiamo fatto ci garantiscono, per esempio, di ripagare l'intera infrastruttura in 8 anni.
The company plans to go public later this year.
Yeah, we're talking about listing in America. Most probably that will be the best market in NASDAQ. The reasoning behind that is that we want to give the possibility to our team to actually get the upside because of their contribution in the company.
The company says it already has several potential investors and wants to take Hyperloop to China in the future.
Will the Hyperloop kill the railroad?
The Hyperloop is going to do to the US what the railroads did in the 1800s. So it will change the way we live. It's possible today, it's based on existing technologies, and it's the right time, it's the right moment to finally get something doing like this.
Is it visionary? In 30 years' time, will you and I be sitting on our rocking chairs going, well, we talked about it then, and he did it?
So you think this is possible? This is not just...
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
For all those who said this is just a neat little thing to draw on a cocktail napkin, these guys are saying it will become reality.
So that's... Thank you. Thank you. It was a lot of work, believe me. But so that's a little bit of the media talking about us. I was completely not agree with put a lot of international press, but we've been in 164 big media outlet, and it represents what is happening. It's a global movement right now, and I'm surprised, but we are more popular outside America than not in America.
So how did you get to this? Why is this the best form of the fastest transportation? Tell us about that.
So it's, first of all, it's the fastest thing ever invented of human being, okay? In the history of humans, there has been several evolutions dictated by whoever was going in the market first was dictating the rules of the market. That happened over and over. America had the most advanced rail system in the planet. And there was a guy called Ford came in and dismantled it. Why, I don't know. But it happened. So it was seen as, you know, the biggest take-it-all. I think right now we need to start to change the mentality in something that is also efficient for the planet. So speed is okay, and it's cool, and everybody wants it, okay? And we will be going at 760 miles per hour. But this is not about the Hyperloop. Hyperloop, it's about, I can show you in a slide, efficiency. So when we are talking about at the speed of sound, I don't know if you've ever seen this. Oh. Have you ever experienced it? It's cool. So the technical term to go at the speed for an object that goes at the speed of sound is being badass, if you don't know it. But in reality, the thing that we are doing, we are also passing the speed of sound. But if this is at the cost of an enormous amount of money, that is not doable. And a lot of people doesn't know that all the infrastructure right now are subsidized by the state. The high-speed rail will cost the Americans $12 each, and sometimes 9, but the California one will be 12. And it's, yeah, they successfully created the less efficient and the most expensive project in the planet. It was an effort, but they did it. So the thing is that, you know, why do we have to continue to embrace technologies that are not doable in the long term? It costs like 20% of the GDP to embed this solution in our society, and it's absorbing money in maintenance, infrastructure. It's crazy. We have to change this. And Hyperloop, it's about efficiency. So what we created, it's a system that is basically able to, first, generate electricity through renewable energy. When we say this, we mean something that is able to actually harvest the power of sun. Imagine to put a solar panel on top of the tube. Then we have a possibility to combine the wind energy. Then we can harvest the movement of the capsule inside the tube to create basically electricity. Then we can also use the braking of the system, because when we accelerate, we consume energy, but when we decelerate, we can recoup it, and we have the technology to do that. And in climates where this is not efficient, like solar panels are not efficient, we use geothermal. We just dig a very long hole, 1 mile, 2 miles down. You just put a tube. The tube goes down, is heated by the geothermal activity of the land, and it produces electricity. It's almost free, 5 kilowatt each pylons. We have this technology. Why we're not using it? And I get pissed off, of course. So the thing is, when you combine these technologies that we have, is there. We just have to buy it. Solar panels are producing 25% of you know, plus or minus, depending on the providers, of efficiency. But if you see the curve in the next 10 years, the efficiency will go up dramatically, and the cost will go down. This thing is able to recoup the entire infrastructure cost in 6 years. So no matter where you build it. So this means that we can do good, create a sustainable transportation system, and make it profitable. What does it mean? That we become rich and we could conquer the world? No. It means that we will be able to invest in research and development. It means that, for example, we can make it free for everybody. And not because we are cool or we are hippies, but because this will be sustainable and it will be a very profitable company. So we need to start to think and to tell the kids that this is the new world that they have to build. And we are starting to demonstrate that this is doable. So this will produce more electricity we consume, and we will resell the electricity to the grid.
You can actually resell the electricity to the grid,
yes.
Which is amazing. And I remember Elon saying, why would we want to spend $60 billion on high-speed rail in California when we can spend $6 billion and have a fifth mode of transportation where we can actually give energy back to the community?
Right, and it was 2003. If I spend $6 billion in the Los Angeles, San Francisco, fire me.
How much is it going to cost?
That expensive.
How much will it cost?
It depends on politician, let's say. It can cost much less.
Less than 6.
If they let us work.
So one of the really cool things that he's doing is the company's doing, and that you're so proud of, is crowdsourcing. I mean, this is like crowdsourcing to the best possible crowdsourcing project ever. How did you do this? How did this work? And I mean, it's such an important project. Tell us about that.
So that's a fundamental part of what we are doing, is also the complete disruption of the concept of companies. I created 70 companies. I was a very traditional investor. I was lucky enough to sell my first company when I was 28. So I invested my money free to decide how to do it. But it was very traditional in my choices. When I started this project, I realized that there was a different world. I met my business partner during an event, Dirk Alborn, the guy that you saw in the video. And this guy comes to me and says, have you seen the Elon Musk project? I said, of course. And so I'm going to build it. And I was, yeah? Okay. Tell me how. I have recruited some engineers, and we are working to make it happen. And I said, what does it mean? Yeah, we are crowdsourcing. And I was like listening to this guy and saying, yeah, for sure. And, you know, alien will come and will just bless us. And I was completely thinking about, this is impossible. I told him, I said, you know, thank you, I'm not going to be involved in this thing. And then he started to send me documents over, and for a month, he was begging me every day. And then I was having this folder with all his mails and craziness in that, and I decided one day I was sick, get cold, and I decided to open it. I opened it, and the first document I saw, it was an analysis of Elon Musk project. We're talking 3 months in the publishing of the white paper, okay? And it was like this. I mean, you read the white paper, and there was comments on the side. And it was comments from 100 engineers from all over the world. And it was like an analysis of, oh yeah, this is doable for this, and this reason. This is not doable, but we have a solution for this, and the other reason. And I started to read through. And then I started to read the name of the guys. And there was a guy that was in the Manhattan Project, 92 years old. He's still alive, you know. The guys from the Apollo mission, guys from SpaceX, Tesla, NASA, JPL. I mean, we're talking about the best people in the planet. India, Mahindra Group, I didn't even know they were existing, the biggest construction company in the planet. Earlycom, the inventor of the vacuum pump. And so there was, if you want more info, call. And there was a number. And I started to call people. These guys, it was one of the most fascinating periods of my life. A week of total immersion of a parallel world made of crazy engineers talking about things that were possible through the technology we have. And after that week, I called the German, and I said, listen, whatever is your idea, you're crazy, but I'm crazier than you, and we're going to do it. And listen to this, we're going to do it because it's doable, and I know it. And he was like, I told you. No, shut up, you don't know it. I told you that we can do it. And I started to analyze, you know, the patent they were asking to buy. And I said, how much do you need? And we bought it. And then trademark. And then, you know, and then we put together. And I did what I do best. I created a company. And we have 520 engineers from 42 countries right now. 60 new engineers a month. It's unbelievable. What we are demonstrating is that when humanity comes together to solve the biggest problem of humanity, you know what happens? They do it. We have the technology to do it. And they're working in exchange of stock option. Everybody in the company. And it's happening.
You know, it's interesting. I was at the Park City Film Series this week. What was the name of the film about the environment? Does anyone remember? It changes everything.
Yes.
And were you there? So, and at the end of it, there was Q&A, and it was really great, and it was fantastic, and people were talking about all the cars and what, you know, what we're doing in Park City and all this. And I said, I think everybody should come on Friday night to listen to Bebop, to talk about the future of transportation. And Patrick is in our audience now. Patrick, this amazing graduate student from Purdue said, I've got to talk to you, I've got to talk to you. He said, I've been working on the pod. I had a project at the pod. I have 2 papers on the pod. I've developed the technology. And that was outsourced. And I told Bebop about this. He said, oh, I know who you're talking about. So Patrick's whole family went back to Ohio or wherever they lived, and we invited Patrick to spend the weekend with us, with Bebop, and to continue on the conversation with this brilliant young engineer from Purdue who's working on developing the pods for the Hyperloop.
Tube team and pods, and they are doing an amazing job. And I'm so lucky that every place I go, there's one or two engineers that come to me and say, I am, this guy. And I say, oh, you are in Tube team, right? Yeah. It's a year and a half that we work together, and we never met. So that's amazing, I think. Yeah.
Another thing we're talking about in Utah, so the Hyperloop right now, you want to talk about Quay for a moment?
Yeah.
And then we can talk about a bigger picture?
Absolutely. Okay. So it's fun to talk about this kind of technology, and maybe I can show you also what it's all about, more in a specific term, because a lot of people talks about the Hyperloop, but we never showed actually what it's really about. But the coolest stuff about everything we're doing, after 2 years that we are in the project, 2 years and a half, we actually building it. And that's the most important part, because this kind of project, you always hear about that, and then it's always things that when you ask the question, yeah, but when I can write it, they say in 20 years. Thanks. It's, okay, it's another one of that. We're going to build it, and we are filing the conditional permit to Quay Valley. It's a dream city of the 21st century. We're talking about a city that will be built in the middle of nowhere along the 5. So next time you're going in the 5, you will see a big truck with the Hyperloop sign. That's where we're building.
Between San Francisco and LA.
Between San Francisco and LA, it will be a completely sustainable modern city. Amusement parks, 27,000 houses, resorts, free zoos, and a butterfly park. It's Las Vegas without the casinos. Not boring. And it's a big result, I think. And it will be completely sustainable. The city of the 21st century is also having the most advanced transportation system ever invented of humankind, the Hyperloop. We will be having 5 miles of full-scale track. What does it mean? It means, it's able to do everything we are saying, except going at 760 miles per hour with passenger. Why? Because when I got to stop, I'm going to give you 3 G of deceleration. You don't like it, trust me. The thing that we will do, we go to 360 miles per hour with passengers, means the fastest thing ever, that you have ever ride, and very comfortable. It will be 15 seconds, plus or minus, but it will be like a ride, but it is to show what it's capable of. And we will be running 760 miles per hour without passengers. So we will be able to test passenger handling, safety measures, all the different capsules, because the capsule will be designed specifically for a different purpose. We want to abandon the concept of first class, second class, and local and freight, because we can also transport and take away all the trucks from the streets, finally. And, but we are going all over the simple concept of how we conceive transportation. We are disrupting everything. We can have a capsule for medical. We can have a capsule for kids. Finally, the kids are not obliged to be staying in an airplane for an hour without being able to do anything, being a disturb for people. We want a kids capsule to have families and parents enjoy the travel, and something designed for them. We will have a business capsule for meeting, organ. We are able to transport organ, emergency capsule for people that needs emergency rescue, and so on. And we are receiving so many inputs from all over the world that we don't know when we will end up designing capsule. We probably will release the design, the specs, and everybody can design his own capsule. It's $2 million, still a bit expensive, but
$2 million per capsule, and you said yoga.
Yeah. So, so we'll have a Bebop capsule, of course. But the most important thing is how we we conceived the entire system. First, if we solve the transportation problem of moving people from point A to point B at the speed of sound, and then you take 2 hours to go to the station, we haven't solved anything, right? So the moment we impact your life forever is when you push a button, a self-driving car, an Uber, a taxi, whatever you choose to ride in to go to the local Hyperloop station will bring you to the local Hyperloop station. This is Los Angeles, example. You go there in 15 minutes because we will be spreading the local, and then the local Hyperloop station will send you to destination, everything in 50 minutes. Now we're changing humanity. Now we are going to allow you to take it 3-4 times a day. And it will be, you know, even productive, because when you're there, you can actually do whatever you like. You can relax, you can work, or you can just enjoy the ride. And with one of the most advanced entertainment system ever conceived. And another very cool thing about us, it's how we are conceiving the way we build it, because that's one of the most important things when you build an infrastructure, okay? First, we are built on pylon. That means we are resistant to earthquakes. This structure already exists since the 70s, right? Pipelines, you know, in Alaska resisted at almost 9.0 of the Richter scale earthquakes. These are very known technologies. But pylons are also very cool to see, but also very efficient. We don't disrupt the land where we build this. You can't imagine how disruptive is a rail when it's built, or a highway. You just cut in half the land for kilometers, for miles, and animals cannot migrate anymore, and they die in the middle of it. And you have a tremendous impact on everything the nature has created. We don't have this problem, we just elevate it. But also, we're using the most advanced kind of materials. This is a proof that we are 30,000 PSI resistant. It means probably 2-3 times, depending on the age of the bridges of a normal bridge. So more efficient than what we have right now. But also, we start to think about, you know, if you have a pylon and we are building a very, let's say, visible infrastructure, okay, why don't we use it also for something else? Why don't we, for example, when you have a solar panel and a pipe, what do you have? You have a desalinization system. That's how they build it, a pipe and a solar panel. But they also, you can clean the water in a way that you can transport it from the sea and bring it to people that needs. In California, we have a big problem with droughts, for example. So while we are building a road, basically, we are also building an infrastructure to bring water, electricity, bandwidth. And the pylon can be conceived to be an ecosystem for the environment. You can grow things there. Bees are so important for the environment. If bees dies, we will die. And we start to think about how to nest animals, bees, and the natural elements that we find in each country to basically help nature and not disrupt it. So that's another way to see transportation. The last thing is we are over-engineering the pylons. So a tube, actually, it's a very powerful tool. I can give you an idea of what we're talking about. If you, in a capsule, you can transport basically 28 to 38 people. Let's say the minimum 28 people. Now, in an hour, it means if I can depart a capsule every 30 seconds, it means 3,400 people an hour. It means 67,000 people a day. It means 7,600 people in a year. We are going to substitute the entire flight industries between Los Angeles and San Francisco 4 times with one tube. If this is not disruptive, tell me what it is, okay? We're talking about 7 tubes in one pylon. It means, you know, we can serve Chinese cities right now, or Jakarta, that has completely, it's a mess. I don't know if you've been there. So that's when we are, you know, when humanity comes together and solve the problem, you know, that's what we're doing.
One of the questions, the kids were amazing today. They asked all the right questions, and one of the students said, what about the G-force? And you said, it's like being in an airplane.
Yeah.
There's no difference. It's like you feel it when you take off, then you can get up and walk around and go to the bathroom if you want to, and then go back to your seat.
You know, airplane goes at 600 miles per hour.
Right.
We are going to 760.
Yeah.
What we are doing is exactly simulating this, because when you are going at an altitude that is basically, you know, above 192,000 feet, that's basically when the air is thin. Technically, you have, you know, from 100 to 60 Pascal. The Pascal is the measure of pressure. So when you are in that range of pressure, you basically encounter very few resistance. So you're able to move people from point A to point B very fast, replicating this atmosphere inside the tube. So now the only matter is how you levitate and propel the capsule. We find a very cool way to do it, thanks to an invention that has been done in the 90s and released from the American government from a lab. It was there, available. The problem, we have so many patents available, and nobody is you know, taking care of it. And you know, when they declassify these patents, the military, nobody takes care about going there and watch what they created. This technology was used to stabilize bullets inside cannons. Well, I'd not say that we are doing the same thing, because we are not shooting anyone in a bullet, but it's pretty much the same thing. So we are using it the more the speed we have, the more the capsule is able to levitate, because we generate a magnetic field passively. It doesn't need energy. This is so disruptive, guys, that will change a lot of the industries. I'm not anticipating anything, but this can be applied to a lot of the things we know. The faster we go, the more efficient it is. And it's energyless. So it was there since the 90s. Nobody cared.
And I think that Utah has probably, why wouldn't we want to be the first state to have this, right? We have the connections. We have an infrastructure that works. We've been talking with the government a little bit about this, and we certainly have a lot of traffic between Salt Lake City Airport and Park City.
Absolutely. The most interesting thing about Utah is that, you know, the infrastructure are there, and they can be complemented by the Hyperloop. So we can build aside railroads or already existing roads.
Clean energy.
And we can also use the immense, you know, resources that Utah has. One of the elements, for example, the graphite industry, it can be very useful for us, because we are using a special mesh to create something that is called UHPC, ultra high performance concrete. So in America is not so well known. Luckily enough, we have European companies that work on concrete. We produce houses in a different way here. Unfortunately, because this is the future of the building in the earth, but also in the space. We can build houses in Mars without using water by combining graphite and elements that creates a very super tiny resistant thing, more resistant than carbon steel, and very economic. We're talking about 6 to 8 times less expensive than the carbon steel.
And graphene is the product of the future, which we all know.
Right.
So I'm going to ask you one more question, and then we'll, you know, ask the audience for their questions.
It's so much fun. So.
What do you see after this? In 50 to 100 years, what can you possibly envision after the Hyperloop as future
Wow,
transportation?
that's a very good question. So, okay, we can go. Let's walk in phases. Okay, let's say in 30 years, we will finally have subsonic flight and supersonic flight. it will change a lot, because Hyperloop is an amazing technology in land. The rail system already reached the limits. If they go faster than 570 kilometers per hour, the air becomes liquid, and we are not gonna, we need too much energy, okay? So that system, it's done, okay? So we need a system that is evacuated, because then we can have, you know, a space-like environment, and then we can go fast. I predict 4-5 times the speed of sound. There's a journalist here. Don't write it, please. It's too early. We are already adapting people to the speed of sound. Don't write things above that. But in air, you know, the Hyperloop is very efficient on land, and we can build tunnels, bridges, but I don't foresee this technology underwater. So now, supersonic flights will be a viable solution for that, because now you're able to basically go out the atmosphere and go back. And Elon demonstrated this month. It was last month. It was an amazing moment for humanity. I don't know you guys, but I was crying. It's amazing, because he demonstrated we can do space travel like, you know, tourists, and it's doable, and it would change everything. So that's the immediate future. What probably will happen after that phase, everything was self-driving. We will lose the concept of owning a car, that's for sure. It's meaningless. If you ask to kids about what does it mean, the car, for them, it's not a status symbol anymore. So it's like, you know, it's meaningless. When ask them that we were collecting records, they laugh. It's like, you're collecting what? Doesn't make any sense. So the cars is the same. We will use cars for entertainment, but not for travel, okay? That's what I foresee. But the self-driving stuff that we will be using will be related to Earth, okay? Now there's a lot of new science coming in, and it's quantum computing, and it's embracing the matter and moving it from points to points. I don't believe in teletransport. It's not happening for humans. We will be able to do two things. One, basically replicate atoms from here to there. It means we can do copies of things. We can basically print something somewhere, and probably will be so fast that it seems like, you know, now. And the second thing will happen, we will expand our human perception. So it means that in 100 years, probably we will be able to stay in Mars, perceiving like we are there, but we will be in Earth. So probably moving there will not make any sense. Oh. So that's what I think will happen.
Okay, so we're going to open this up for Q&A. If we can put the lights up a little bit.
I don't know about you guys, but that was, it was so inspiring that at times I could have sworn I heard people cheering, and I heard buzzers to punctuate things. There is, of course, a high school basketball game going on behind us. But, so Mo is here. He's going to do this side of the room. I'm going to do this side of the room. We're going to try and, you know, get to 3-4 questions aside, we hope, and we'll go fast. So think of your question and be clear about it. Looks like you got hands before I do.
What is the time frame for building that city in California, and then on top of that, actually getting something implemented from San Diego or LA up to San Francisco?
Okay, so from the moment we filed the conditional permit, and I anticipate that will be within 2 weeks, okay? I'm looking if there are journalists that I know. Okay, if everything goes well, it's 2 weeks. If everything goes bad, it's 4. The American government, sorry, the Kings County has 8 months to answer. We already know they will be really fast. We are, for some reason, the thing happening there. They already, they all of a sudden exist in 165 countries, so they have to do it. From that moment, we need 36 months to have the first passenger. So it will be a long wait for me, but a very short wait for all the rest of the planet, I think. So we are able to start having people internal people, unless I don't have some volunteers here that wants to ride. Okay, oh wow. Wow. So I have to fire my monkeys, I think. It's okay, it's okay. So, but that's what happens. Then what happens after, I can tell you, I'm already in a negotiation, very advanced negotiation with city pairs. Unfortunately, they are not in America. There's a big issue about what we are, for example. When you are in a private land like Quay Valley, there's no issue. As soon as we will step out of Quay Valley, they start, all of a sudden, the state comes in, knocks the door and says, regulation, what are you? Are you a rail? No. Are you an airplane? No. Maybe I'm an Hyperloop. So we need a new regulation, right? So it's complicated here. There are countries where we're talking with people. If someone has connected to me to Facebook, they've seen who I met, Prime Minister of India and Prime Minister of Indonesia, King of Solo, Prince Bandar from Saudi Arabia. I cannot disclose which one will be the first, but we're already negotiating for 80 miles of a full-scale track between two very important destinations outside US, and it's somewhere between Asia and Saudi Arabia.
Thank you. Next question.
And while he's getting the mic, can you throw up that slide you showed the kids about what you're going to see out the windows? Because I think that's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I wasn't showing this. Here we go. So, you want me to talk about this? Okay, that's cool. Trust me, this is cool. So human eyes has a limit, okay? It sees at 128K, okay? Why am I telling you? Because we cannot have windows. So you usually stare a very ugly place and you imagine what's happening outside. This is not a normal way we do things as humans, right? And even animals has a problem with that. So, but we do store them in some very ugly places. I don't go there, but it's really ugly. But human being sees at 120K. So when we started to study how to simulate reality, basically, to allow people to actually perceive what's happening outside, we came out with a study of a very amazing professor that jumps on board immediately after. And he says, listen, yes, human eye sees that 120K, but in reality, above 11K, we aren't able to distinguish reality because of a problem of interpolation and some other effects that happens in the retina. We are actually simulating, we don't really see, we are simulating what we perceive. So we can trick the eye to look as it's real. So above 11K, we can do it. Now, I was coming from CES yesterday, and they already launched the 8K. It was like, yes, we are near. But in reality, we're talking with Samsung and Panasonic, and I say it because they're becoming our partner. And they already have a technology that are, with some tricks, using the 11K. Trust me, guys, when you look at these screens at 8K already, it's kind of weird. You're there, and it's real, okay? So we are doing a very cool stuff because we are putting screens from 11K, but as soon as we're ready with the capsule, we already are into the field of a 15K. So we are way beyond what we need. And we will be simulating reality. What it means, we will have cameras all around the truck, 360 camera every 100 feet. They can show you outside, so you can switch on the outside view. But the in-capsule entertainment team is working on very advanced stuff. So you want to travel to Paris? We can make you travel to Paris. You want to go underwater, in space, in the future, in the past. You want to be attacked by Godzilla? We can do that. So the amazing thing, we can transform just that element into an entertainment thing. And there's so many companies now and jumping on board. We have the most advanced augmented reality company from Germany, Reflect, that is studying an amazing way to do this and make it possible for all three the passenger in line, because the difficulty is the point of view. So the pixel has to be moved in a certain way out of the 1/60th of the second to be able to give you one pixel, you one pixel, you one pixel, so the three direction will be real and you perceive it as real. So it's complicated. I don't want to go in there. But what you see is that we are also redefining the way we conceive in-capsule entertainment. It would be amazing.
Wow, what a presentation and what a vision. Thank you so much. And you mentioned a little bit about risk and safety. Could you maybe say a little more about that in your presentation?
Well, we will all die, basically. No. So, the thing
one of the students today said the same thing, exactly. Two students actually were asking about what are the risks as far as if it gets blown up, right? And can a terrorist get on there? So
I can answer in a political way or in a very specific way. The political way is, okay, we are designing the most advanced transportation system and the safest in the planet. You don't know it, but when you take a flight, you have 1,000 breaking points, and you're taking a risk. It's a calculated risk, but I give you an example. Every 100,000 miles flown in an airplane, there's a coefficient of 0.07 accidents. It means every 3.75 years, the airplane will break. For us, it's not acceptable. We're taking a giant risk when we go in a flight. And there's also collateral risk about safety and so on. Why I'm saying this? Because what you see in the airport is fake, is not working. If someone wants to bring a bomb, can do it. So this is a deterrent maybe. There's all the main security that we designed are 10 times better than what it is right now. And trust me, we didn't have a lot of effort to do that. So the thing that we are working is two main things. First, security starts from data mining. I'm not exaggerating when I say that 70–80% of the accident and terrorist attack can be prevented by analyzing data. We leave tracks. Crossing this data can predict a lot of the things that are happening right now. Now, why they are not doing it, it's a very series of stupid reasons, but it's happening right now. We want to fix it. We have a former special force from UK that work with the American government. Their job is to hire 70 veterans, attack facilities all over the world, and show where are the weak points, okay? They risk their life to do that. They are heroes. And we are working with them to define a system that can protect us from outside or inside. But I'm not overselling you that there's not a safe system. It cannot be by definition. We're trying to implement the safest way that we know, trying to make this almost impossible to happen. If it happens, it will be related to the maximum of the capsule, one capsule. So yes, it's tragic, and probably they can't blow up the entire capsule. Some people will die if something happens, but if you ever can pass our passive scanning system that analyzes atoms passively, and I can tell you what you have eaten yesterday. I don't know if we are interested in that, but as an Italian, we are really into food. But the main goal is that we can analyze and guarantee that nothing enters. But when there are human involved, then it can happen. Okay. The effort to do this will be so enormous that good luck with that. I mean, why don't you blow yourself in a bus and do 7 times the damage? I mean, So we're trying to do this and to use all the deterrent possible to make it difficult. And if they shut us down, it means they bring down 3 pylons and could like to do this with the security we put outside for half a mile in both directions and upstairs. Let's say you are doing it, and still in a month I can be up and running again. It will impact only one tube. So, I mean, I'm pissed, but we go on.
Italian.
Hi, thank you for being here. I can see how the system could work somewhere like along the I-5 corridor or in Sao Paulo or in Beijing. But can you talk about the scalability of this system and whether, for example, Summit County, Park City, we legitimately have a shot at making this successful, you know, in our 7-mile stretch between Kimball Junction and our resorts in town? Is that something that has been looked at? I mean, analyzed legitimately, and if so, where can I get copies of that analysis?
Join the team. First, okay, of course, the straighter we go, the better it is, okay? And we can go up and down or lateral, but our problem is speed. The faster we go, the less the arc we can have to have maximum 1G of horizontal force and 0.5 lateral. And even a baby can understand it. The steeper is the angle, the less speed we have to have, right, to make it comfortable, okay? So we will adopt the same strategy that a jet uses when it's landing. You don't realize that they're turning very, very steep. But they do it in a degree that you don't feel it because you can usually use an arc that allow you to feel it less. And we are doing the same thing. So the answer to this question is that, you know, it's all about politics because, you know, if they give me the right way to go straight, we are built on pylon. There will be someone complaining because we are in their land, but listen, I'm going to give back electricity, water, you know, it's a business. For the first time, I'm not taking out the land of anyone. I'm bringing them on board and making a business for them. Their land will value double, not half. So
you're taking cars off the road.
It's a win-win situation. I'm taking out cars, and it's completely silent. And you will have an ecosystem of plants and all the other stuff that we are working on. We have a concrete that can absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen. So these technologies are available right now. We can implement it. I'm happy to be near a pylon because if I'm in a polluted city, it's better to live there, okay? So having said that, of course it's a political decision. But if we have to go around things or so on, it means we have to slow down. But we will be more efficient anyway. So yes, I'm not going fast as you will wish. Faster than now, because they're lying about the average speed on the road. We don't realize it, that we are very slow. America is the slowest country in the planet. Luckily, because it's also, you know, safer. But this is the reality. So it's a matter, I was in front of Prince Bandar from Saudi Arabia. He said, where do you want to put it? I said, well, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, it's, you know, a straight line. Don't worry, I will remove everything is in the middle.
We have one more.
You mentioned the politics that's involved. Governor Jerry Brown in California is very personally invested in the high-speed rail program.
So it's finished. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Bye-bye.
I'm just wondering if he's heard of, obviously he's heard of the Hyperloop program. Any indication of what his reaction is to that as it relates to his pet project?
Okay. Do I have to be sincere?
No, you have to be sincere.
Okay.
They can handle it.
Are they journalists?
Don't be politically correct. Tell the truth.
If you know me, I'm too straight sometimes. So let's formulate it like this, okay? So there's a guy called Jeremy Brown that embraced a project that will cost $68 billion to the American people, citizens, because it's not only California. Don't be tricked by this. Every American will pay that. And they haven't started after 15 years. They say they will file a permission of build. They will be filing first. They say they are filing the permission of build, and they're already 2 billion over. Oops. And they haven't started yet. To build the slowest and the less efficient rail system in the planet. Having said that, now we have this guy called Elon Musk that says this is stupid, and there's another guy, Bibop, that is demonstrating that he's right. And unfortunately, I have a bad news. It's worse than they say. It's more efficient by very, very, by very long. So Jeremy Brown could be the right person to jump on board the Hyperloop. I think the presidential candidate right now will do it. And they say in Washington we have some lobbyists, I don't know if it's true, that whoever will jump on the Hyperloop will win the election because it will be popular among the teenagers and, sorry, the young voters. Okay, and these are usually the guys that doesn't vote. In this election, internet will be very important. And we are building a movement, we're not building a company. It's 20,000 people are now participating in the Hyperloop, directly or indirectly. So, to answer to your question, if I was Jeremy Brown, I would jump on the Hyperloop immediately and say, guys, we find a solution and just divert a piece of that amount to build something else. We can still keep that project that is not gonna fly because it's already stopped before even beginning, and save his face. That's what I would do. He will do it? I don't know.
Well, what a great evening. Thank you, Bebop. Thank you, Sharon.